This is Gemara in Gittin Daf Nun Tes, and we're holding on Nun Chesam and Beis, the second wide line, as we continue this conversation about the Sikrikun, these Goyim that would take away land in order to not to kill a Yid, and then the subsequent dinim that happened when someone buys back that piece of land, etc. And today we're going to hone in particularly on the second half of that story, when someone is buying back that land. What do they own the original? What do they owe the original owner, etc. So it says the Gemara on the second wide line of Nun Chesam and Beis du Mishnah Rishayna. But Bezdin Shalachrein Amru Aloker Min Hasikrikin Noitzin Labaylim Revia. Originally they learned, which we learned the previous few days, but now we get involved in Lulamaisa. In the Bezdin Shalachrein, where we're holding nowadays, the halacha is that what Noitzin Labaylim, you have to pay the owner, the original owner, Revia, a quarter. And the question is, what a quarter of what? Well, what's a quarter? So says the Gemara, we have a Machlekes Rav and Shmuel. Amar Rav Revia Bekarka, Oy Revia B'Ma'is. Either a quarter of that, whatever you paid for the land. So if someone buys this piece of land from a guy for $100, he gives the original owner $25. Oy Revia Bekarka, Oy Revia B'Ma'is, or a Revia in Ma'is, meaning you pay back a quarter, says Rav, of the purchase price. What do you give the original owner? Either money or land. That's the opinion of Rav. Very simple. Shmuel Amar says Shmuel Revia Bekarka, which is Shein Shlish B'Ma'is. Says Shmuel, you have to give a quarter of the land, which is a third of the money. Now, what's going on over here is that there's an assumption that whenever the Sikrikun sell the land, these Goyim that took the land by force, when they sell it, they're going to sell it at a discounted value. So says Shmuel, when you buy that piece of land from the guy, he's going to sell it at 75% of the value. Therefore, if the land was worth, let's call it $400, then he's going to sell it for $300. 75%, 3/4 of the original value. So therefore, when you buy it for $300, what do you have to pay? A quarter of $400, which is $100, to the original owner, which is a third, meaning which is a third of that which you paid. So again, it's worth $400. So you give $100, which is a quarter of the whole land, which is a third of that which you paid. Says the Gemara, what is this detail of Machlekes between Rav and Shmuel? Says the Gemara, Mar Savar, Nechi Riva Zavin. The first opinion holds. Well, actually, the second opinion, Shmuel holds, like we just explained, that he sells it for a quarter less of the value. Umar Savaravo is Nechi Chumsha Zavin, that he sells it for a fifth of the original value. Meisvei asked the Gemara on Shmuel, Zu Mishnah Rishayna Bezin Shalchreinim Amru, Halokei, Achben Esek Rikin Oitzil Balim Revia, V'yad Bailim Alo Yoino. And the owner has the upper hand, meaning, explains this brayso, Ratza Bekarka Nalin, Ratza B'Ma'is. So ask the Gemara and Shmuel, you Shmuel said when you pay back it's Revia Bekarka, which is a Shlish B'Ma'is. We have an explicit brayso that says that when you pay back the quarter, the owner, the original owner, has the right to choose whether he wants Karka or Ma'is. According to Shmuel, this should be a big difference. The brayso continues. When does this apply? When the original owner does not have that which to buy back the land? Says the Gemara, Rabbi Hoishev Bezdin Nimnu. Rabbi convened the Bezdin and said, Shem Shasam Zikrikun, Shem Asachaydish, the end of the Bryce, that if the land was in the possession of Zikrikun for 12 months, then anyone who wants could buy it. So we see explicitly now, like Shmuel, we see like Rav, we see Revia Bakarka, Revia B'Ma'is, not like Shmuel that said Revia Bakarka, which is a Shlish B'Ma'is. Answers the Gemara in the last line of Nun Ches Mebeis Amar Rav Ashi Kitanya Hi Lacher Shabai Ma'is Liyadu. What does it mean, a quarter? It means after the owner already received payment, it is a quarter of the original land, and therefore it could fit even with Shmuel. Says the Gemara, Amar Ram. This is really going back to something we learned a few days ago on Daf Yomi, but let's see, hopefully it'll become clear in a moment. Amar Rav. I was amidst those that were in the minyan, that were in the numbers of Rebbe, as Rashi points out, when they made that gezerah of kol hakodim likach. So says Rav, I was there, I was part of that bezdin, and now we're on the top of Nun Tes Amid Aleph. I was part of that bezdin. And they counted my vote first, says Rav. I was there and they counted my vote first. Asks the Gemara of Anantanan, Dine Mamines, Utahairois, Vatumois, Maschlim in Agadol. Dine Fashas, Maschlim in Atzad. So says the Gemara, this was Rebbe's Bezdin. So who should they have counted first? Rebbe, Maschlim in Agadol. We should start with the greatest one. It's Dine Mamines. So why did Rav say he was counted first? Amar Rav Rava v'iteim Rav Hillel B'rei Rav Vilas Shiny Minyanet ve'Rebbe. Rebbe's bezdin worked differently. The kulu minyanei min atzad havi maschilin. Rebbe always started min atzad from the smaller one. Even dinei mamanis. That's how Rebbe did his bezdin. That's the reason why they did such in this story. Says the Gemara, once on the topic of Rebbe, from Moshe, Rabbeinu, all the way to Rebbe, to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, they never found Torah and Gedula. Torah and Gadlus, or Sheshiva, the Gadol, and it means even in Mile Dialma, it means even in worldly matters that he ran the town. Rebbe was that, just like Moshe Rabbeinu ran Gans Klal Yisrael. Says the Gemara, V'lai, is that true? Havi Yeshua. In Moshe Rabbeinu's time, there was another one. There was Yeshua, who was the leader of Klal Yisrael. Havi Elazar. What about when Elazar was the leader? He was the only one, and he was Gadol. He would lead Gans Klal Yisrael as well. Havi Pirchas. What about the time of Pirchas? Havi Zekanim. Havi Shaul. What about the times of Shaul? Elech. Havi Shmuel, but he was Nifter. Kulu Shani Kamrinan, all his years. So we're seeing a Maila that entire life to be the one controlling Klal Yisrael. Ask Gemara further on the first white line, Vave David. Havi Yerair, in the time of David Amel was Yerair, who was a Gadol. Vanach Lavshei, Kulu Shani Binan. Vave Shlema, Havi Shimon Ben Gera, Vakatzlenu. He was killed. Kulushni Kamrinan his entire life. Have Chizkiah, have Shivna, Haketlu, Kulushani Kamrinan, have Ezra, have Nechemim Chaklaya. Amar Ravacha, Breid Rava, Afani Omer. I concur, Bimais Rabbi Vad Rav Ashi. Lamasinu Taira, Uktula Makamecha. So we saw from Moshe Rabbeinu to Rabbi, now we're seeing from Rabbi to Rav Ashi. Says Marvaloi, Vave Huna Barnasa, Shani Barnasa, the Micha, Vikaif Leda Rav Ashi. So we're seeing that there's this incredible Maila of being Tairo Gedula b'makom echad, that though that he was the greatest Talmid Chacham, also is he who led Klal Yisrael. Didn't happen very frequently, and each time that we found someone that happened to, the Gemara remarks that it wasn't his entire lifetime; it was only part of his life. And we pick it up Nun Tes Amid Aleph at the Mishnah, about 8 lines into the very wide lines. Chayresh Reimez v'nirmaz, a chayresh, he who can't talk, a deaf mute, could signal to show that which he intends, vinirmas, and others could signal to him as well. He can even mouth the words that he wants to do. And of course, this is not just this is not just telling people what he wants. This has to do with to effect halachic items, halachic acquisitions, kinyanim, etc. So again, cheresh Sarah Merkavitz v'nikvats b'mitalton with regard to mitalton. Hapu'utais, young children, mechar, their sales are sales, memchar mechar b'mitalton, their purchases and sales are valid with regard to mitalton. Says the Gemara Amram Nachmin, machlekes b'mitalton aval b'gittin divrei akol beramiza. Machlokes in the Mishnah is dafka by metaltalin, but when it comes to get, everyone holds you could be merames, you could hint to create the get. Says the Gemara, Pshita, b'metaltalin tanan. Answers the Gemara, Ma'u the tema, I would have thought af b'metaltalin. It means even that. Kamashla, no, dafka metaltalin. The Amri of Nachli Gamalech was metaltalin, kach machlokes bin Gittin, but now metaltalin tanan, ima af metaltalin. And we continue the second half of the Mishnah. Says the Gemara of Ad Kama, until how many years old? What is the age that we're referring to? Machve Rav Yehuda Rav Yitzchak Bereh, he pointed Rav Yitzchak his son, Kvar Shiz Kvar Shev, who was 6-7 years old. Rav Kana Amar Kvar Shev Kvar Tamni, who was 7-8 years old. Masnita Tana Kvar Teishik Kvar Eser, 9-10 years old. He says the Gemara, each child according to his charifos, according to his acumen, according to his ability, his intellectual maturity. So now it says the Gemara, what is the reason for this din derabanan? Said a child will be able to have his essential needs. If the child's actions were not legally binding, it would be a problem. So in order to ensure that he could buy, he could sell, etc., the Beis Din created this takana, and this of course continues the theme of that which we're discussing, that he'll be able to effect such acquisitions. Vayomer, now the Gemara continues to another din by Rav Abba bar Yaakov in the name of Rav Yechanan. Vayomer la'asher al meltacha hoitze levush l'avzei abal. He told the one appointed over the meltacha, take out the levush, the garments for whom? He who worships the Baal, the idol. My maltacha, says the Gemara. What is this maltacha? Amar Rav Abba bar Yaakov and Yechanan davar hanimlal v'hanimtach. So that is rubbed and stretched on a linen. The threads are stretched between one's fingers. Now, so says the Gemara, that's how we darshan up this pasuk. Again, a bit random, but it's the same. Rav Abba bar Yaakov b'shem Rav Yechanan. And the Gemara continues. Kasser Rav Dimi Rav Yechanan Shigar Loi. They sent Bunyas ben Yunis l'Rav Sivni. They sent Bunyas ben Yunis to Rav Sivi v'Choymes Salsala u'Melaltza. They sent them clothing made of Sivni, Choymes, Salsala, and Mal Milah. Sivni, so now the Gemara explains. Sivni v'Choymes kam guza, palgad am guza. Sivni and Choymes can be folded to the size of 1.5 nuts. Salsla, mamnula, b'pistika, palgi defiska. And the silsla and mamnula can be folded to the size of 1/2 acorns. My mamnula, says the Gemara, daval nimlov and imtach, something that is stretched and rolled between one's fingers. Utuusan, and now we go back into the Mishnah. So the Mishnah discussed that the kinyanim of a child of a pu'utais is valued, is valid. Says the Gemara, utuusan, and if they make a mistake, ad kama, how much? Meaning, we know when it comes to regular dinim, the halacha is until a shtos, until a 6, if one overcharges, undercharges, etc., it's valid. More than a 6 is not. So says the Gemara over here, we're dealing with a special din derabanan that the kinyan, the acquisition of the minor works. So ask the Gemara ad kama. So explains the Gemara, Amar Rav Yoina, Amar Rav Zeira, ad shtos kegadol, same din as a gadol. So boy abba masnitai mai. So ask Abaye, boy Abaya, matanasai mai. What about a matana? Is the matana of such a kid valid? Rav Yema Amar ein matanasai matana, Amar bar Ravashi Amar matanasai matana. So if Chua v'shadua lekamei de Rav Mordechai, so they switched around the names. They said to Rav Mordechai, this was a way that sometimes they wanted to test the validity of such a statement. They switched around who said yes and who said no to make sure it was true. Amar lezilu, Amar lebar. The bar mar go to Mar bar Ravashi lav achi avov. There was this not a story. Ki avikai mar chadikari arav chadikari adargo, when he was standing 1 foot over here, 1 foot of the door. And we asked him, what is the story with regard to a matanasa, with regard to the gift of a child? V'amarlan masnasa matana. Achaz man hashrivar, achaz man hasbari, achaz man hasmeruba, achaz man mu'etes. So he's testifying that the status is that the gift is always valid even of a child. So says the Gemara, after dealing with all the different takanos, for the benefit of the world, Tikkun Olam, we continue with the first cousin of takanos for Darki Shalim. So says the Mishnah on the bottom of the Testament Aleph, Elu dvarim amrei darkei shalom, koyin kari rishon, v'acharav Levi, v'acharav Yisrael, and they darkei shalom. This is something that we learned, Dirshu Mishnah Berurah very recently, that darkei shalom dictates the Aliyah is koyin Levi Yisrael. Ma'arvim b'Yisrael should always put the Erev Chatzeros in the same house. We made darkei shalom, a din that we learned in Erevin. We turn over to the New Testament base, and the Mishnah continues listing the entities that were created in darkei shalom. Bar shukar of the Amma mismale rishon. The well that is closest to the Amma gets the ability to fill up from that well first. And continues the Gemara. No, excuse me, I was on the right side. Let's go back over here. Here we go. The one who is close to the well gets to fill up first. Mibnei darkei shalom. Again, for darkei shalom, we're on the top of the Testament piece. Mitzuda is chayos v'oifos, the traps of animals and birds and dugim and fish. Yeshua misham gezel b'nei darkei shalom. Even though in reality there's no gezel, because no one makes a kinyan until you pick it up itself. When something goes into your trap, you don't have a kinyan. Says the Mishnah, we allow it to have a kinyan b'nei darkei shalom. Rav Yosi Omer gezel kamer. It's real gezel. Mitzias chayer shaytav v'kata and Yeshua misham gezel b'nei darkei shalom. Even though they cannot make a kinyan, we say that there's a kinyan. Why? So that we could have peace. Rav Yosi Omer gezel kamer. Only that's picking the top of the olive tree, Masha Tachtov, that which underneath him, Gazal Nederke Shalom. Rav Yosi Omer Gezel Gazer. Ein Memachan Biyad Aniyim Avdei Kachavim. Cannot take something away from the ani, even if he's a guy, but like a Shechopeya, Nederke Shalom. So we see a whole list over here of different takanas they made for the betterment to keep the peace. Darkei Shalom. We're seeing how far this is going, even to allow a guy to keep some of the matnas aniyim to keep the peace, and we're seeing that in many of these cases, Rav Yosi is arguing that it is real gezel. So we begin Minani immediately in Testament Beis, about 10 lines down, with the first din of the Mishnah, which was what? Koyin Levi Yisrael, the order of Kriyas HaTorah, which was made in the darkei shalom. Says the Gemara, how do you know? Amar Rav Masna Damar Kra, says in the Torah, V'yichtav Moshe es HaTorah hazois, V'yina al Koyanim b'nei Levi. Do I not know that the Kohanim were the children of Levi? Ninu. Ella, what does it teach us? Kohanim Bereisha of Hadar Levi. If it's a Navchamar, a different source, Me'acha from over here, V'niksha Kohanim and Levi, and they approached. To Anan, Lo Yadina, a similar Shaila, do we not know the Kohanim and Levi? Ninu. Ella, Kohen Bereisha of Hadar Levi. Then afterwards, Levi. Rav Ashi Amar Me'acha. B'nei Amram, Araynu Moshe v'Yavdal Arayn Lakdishay Kadosh Kadoshim. Rav Chibar Ava Amerach, another boss of Kiddashta L'Chodom Shebekdusha. For every matter of Kedusha, the Kohen goes first, etc. Tana Devei Rav Yishmael v'Kiddashta. Continuing the drasha, we're about 20 lines down. The first word on line is v'Kiddashta. Chodom Shebekdusha L'V'Doyach. Rishon, they get the first aliyah levarich. Rishon, they bench. First, the money off Rishon. They take the best portion. Amalei Abayel Rav Yosef. When they darkei shalom, daraisai. Why are you telling me in our Mishnah that one of the darkei shaloms, one of the takanas to keep the peace was what? Kohen Levi Yisrael. Asabai, it's not true. We're seeing that this is learned straight up from the pasuk. It's a din daraisa. Amarlei daraisa. Umibnei darkei shalom kol haTorah umibnei darkei shalom. You're right. It's a din daraisa, says the Gemara, and as well mibnei darkei shalom. This is why we have to keep this. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Kol haTorah kula mibnei darkei shalom. The whole Torah is to be peaceful. T'chsev deracheha darkei noyam v'chol nisivayiseh shalom. The way of the Torah are peaceful and beautiful, and everything old paths are peace. So Ella Amar Abaye, you know what's going on over here. Lechedemar. Titan, you learned to the Braisa. Shnayim, if there's two people eating together, Mantin and Zelazeh. Bekaira, they wait for each other to eat, for eating that they eat at the same time. Shleisha, 3 people, Mantin. They don't have to wait. Haboitzeya, the one who makes the bracha, who Peshid Yad Tzchila. We learned this way back when in Gemara and Brachis. He takes first. If you want to give honor to the Rabbi, harshos biyadi. Ve'omar mar, and on this mar taught Allah loy shanu alubis uda avlo beis hakeneses loy da'asi lansuye. Because in beis hakeneses we have to be nervous that it's going to come to fighting. So explains the Gemara. Explains the Gemara that even though we're in Beis HaKnesses, and even though in Beis HaKnesses we see we have to be more concerned about Asila and Suye, so maybe the Kohen shouldn't come first. That's the Chiddush that we're learning, that the Kohen Levi still comes first. Amar Rav Nasna Hodam Rebbe HaKnesses Loi Amar and El B'Shabbos Yom Tov the Shchichi Ram, not a people there. Avol B'Shin V'Chamishi Loi. Then it's not true, because then it's not so many people. We don't have to be worried. Ask the Gemara, Eini Var Ravuna Kari B'Kahani B'Shabbos Yom Tovim. Even on Shabbos and Yom Tov, he did the same. Rav Huna would read first, meaning even though he was not a kohen. Answers the Gemara, Big Yisai, Shani Rav Huna, Da'afilu Rav Ami, V'Rav Asi, Kahani, Chashivi, D'Eretz Yisrael, Mekav Kayiflu. Everyone was Kayif, everyone was subordinate to Rav Huna. Gadol Adar, and Gadol Adar takes precedence. Mishnah Berurah Paskins, nowadays we don't do this. Nowadays, because of machlekes, we keep the basic order Kohen Levi Yisrael, but be'etzem, ostensibly, the Gadol Adar should always come first, even in front of Kohanim, Levim, and Yisraelim. Says the Gemara, Amar Abaye, on Aktina we have a tradition, Ein Sham Kohen. What do you do if there's no Kohen? It's part of the Chavila. It unravels, meaning anyone can get it. Amar Abaye, Aktina, Ein Sham Levi Kohen, Kari Kohen. There's no Levi, the Kohen gets to Elias. Eini, is that true? Amar Rav Yechon, Kohen Acher Kohen, Lo Yikro Mishab B'Kama Shel Rishon. But Rav Yechon taught one Kohen should not read after the next. Why not? Because we're going to assume that the first Kohen was possible. That's what they call it the second one. So why are you telling me if there's no Levi, another Kohen gets it? We see you should not do that. And similarly, the price says Levi Acher Levi Lo Yikra Mishab B'Kama Shnei, and people think that they're apostle. So answers Gemara, what did we mean when we said that if there's no Kohen, there's no Levi, the Kohen gets Aliyah, Ki Kamrinon, but Oisai Kohen. That Kohen himself gets both Aliyahs. Says the Gemara, when it came to the Levi, we say you have to worry about being Pagam of both of them. But by the Kohen, it's only come the first one. So Kohen Acher Kohen Ami, Amri Chaminai Olav Kohen, who says the same thing. Kikoin, the Muxlam Ba'avua, the Haisheni, the Koyenu. That's the Mux, like everyone knows that the second guy is the Koyin. Says Gemara, Hachanaim, the Muxlam Ba'avua, the Haisheni, the Levi. So what's going on? Why do we see a difference? And by the Levi, worried that they're both going to have people thinking to be apostle. By the Koyin, it's only the second one. Ella Amri, Mamzeres, and Asin, and Asiv, Psula, Lazare, Hachanami, Amri, Gusha, Chalutza, and Asiv, Achla, Lazare. Says the Gemara, whatever the concerning you have by a Koyin, the same concerning you have by a Levi. So finally, the Gemara concludes, Saif, Levi Mika Have. Even if you're right, that the second Kohen's father was married to Gusha Chalutza, would the son be a Levi? No, he'd be a Yisrael. Therefore, if you would read in the place of the Levi, it wouldn't be thought that it was from an Isser, and that's the reason why by the the Kohen we're not worried that both of them are going to have a pekan. Laman, and who are we talking about? Ili Yoshve Nakachazile. But it must be that we're concerned for those that are going to leave early, a concern that we learned extensively in the Gemara Megillah is part of the reason why we make Berachas HaTorah before each Aliyah, because maybe people that are leave aren't going to know. We'll pick it up from Shachlei B'nai Galila in the next year, B'siyata Tishmaya.